week. All right, so hello everyone, and also big shout out to Rafael, because he was the one that got most of our documents ready. I don't want to spend, I'll say, like this meeting to go over all the details for the strategy document as well as the advisor ones. I think that's probably better coordinated outside the chat. But I mean, if you have like specific or like kind of urgent questions, like feel free to share here. So maybe we can provide some perspective. But we do appreciate all the feedback that you guys are giving. I also saw there was a small discussion about like some of the recommendations that was given to, I think, other ABCs as well as us. It's a quite interesting point. I think it's up to me and Rafael to kind of see like what we're gonna accept before we submit. But I do see I mean, I see both sides. Like I see some of the delegates saying that they want to have alignment between different groups, but at the same time, I think that also makes, I think, maybe ABC is too similar. Like if we do SM, so I think that's something that we'll kind of discuss about it. But thank you for the suggestion. And then in terms of like some of the updates on like what's going to happen to ABC is that so because we have the documents, once it's ready, we actually Alpha can correct us if we're wrong, but it's our understanding that we have to have a vote to basically official, like formally submit it. I don't know what that really means, because I don't think that we have seen others formally submit yet. Yes, so it's ABC's decision. So my guess is that because we have a tool link, so I think the ones we think that it's good to submit, then Rafa and I make like we can have a voting, and then we say like, okay, so here's a document, link to it. I don't think that there was a requirement that this has to be uploaded to something else. I think the link to the document is fine, but please correct us if I'm wrong. Of course, we are gonna try to do it before the end of the month, so that even if there's like small mistake that's more technical, technicality or something, that we can fix and try to avoid, because of course we don't want to basically make ABC invalid just because we made a small mistake. Nobody wants that, right? So we'll try our best. In terms of advisor one, I don't think so. Maybe Galafa can correct us, but for the advisor suggestion, is that also ABC decision, or is it something that we can just share on the ABC channel and that itself is sufficient? Because I know for the strategy one that we need to submit the voting, but is it the same case for the recommendation for advisors? So we have two documents, right? So one document is about the strategy, and the other one is we've been working. Well, we as in like ABC have been working on a document to try to help select advisors, right? That's also why we've been inviting different guest speakers to talk about some of the pain points and some of the parts that might be needed help with the advisors. So that's the document that we've been working on. I believe is it scope document? Okay, so just to be, I guess, safe. Okay, Rafael, I think that we will also do a ABCB decision on that one. Okay, so we don't miss any. So now I think that's yeah. So after we submit the voting, then review it. If we're missing anything, then we'll hear back and fix it. So sounds good, right? So I think that's kind of it for some of the next step for ABC. Rafael, is there anything to add? Because if not, we can just go over the support scope, because as you mentioned that we need to, I think, discuss about it.
Yeah, I think like the document process is pretty good async. I think that works fine. Let's make sure to touch support a second time, so we are within the mandated schedule. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. So I think that we're just gonna go over the support scope one more time as required. We already went over the support scope before. And then especially for the like related advisory, like we have written quite details. Actually, I think the thing about ABC calls is that like although we have to discuss it again, like it's kind of my understanding that unless there's like specific points to add, like it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to discuss it additional. Like correct me if I'm wrong. So, but other way, like, is there anything that we want to discuss more about it? That was also the reason why it was a little bit iffy to have an agenda for this week, but or maybe Raphael, like, what's your thought on it?
I mean, I think the one thing that stands out is like the size of the support scope. So, like, does there have to be an expert on like every subscope, or maybe not? I don't know.
Maybe you could pull up the support scope section of the document and then written over it. Oh, that's a good idea. Let's see. All right. So I'm pretty sure everyone has a link, but just in case if you don't have a link, here's the link to the documents. Then we can go to the support side. But yeah, there's a lot. Is there like so among here? Is there any parts that we didn't discuss in the call so far? Well, what's the, okay?
I
so
think we didn't go into details about
the AI side,
yeah, AI
intelligence
side, and also I think governance support could use some more light on it. And then I think one thing that's super interesting actually that we could talk about is sub-DAO incubation, because I think that's very relevant for us as growth.
That's true. Is sub-DAO incubation basically wait, so whose team then takes care of the support scope?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Okay, so like in formerly core unit terms, like who takes care of this side? Is it the SES or? Yeah, okay. Visual SES. Okay, so I mean, the reason why I mentioned is because SES used to have a like small grant or incubating for Maker, right? Like for example, I remember like Calif Labs and a few others, they also tried under it. So I think maybe sub-DAO incubation can be also like that, where like we approach them about such, or maybe they're like hackathons, or maybe there's grants or others. But I'm actually not so sure. Also, what is purpose system? Okay, okay, purpose system 100%. Okay.
Purpose system is the AI philanthropy work. That was what was once nuclear advocacy. So basically, I think a part of the new governance token emissions should go to this to fund NGOs in the area of AI alignment.
Okay, I see.
No, I don't expect the AI to be ready before the sub-DAOs are incubated. Yeah, and I agree with both Wizard that I think because the scope is so large, we also need like a large advisory council. I think that was basically our initial position. I think that with the purpose system, maybe let's focus on that for a little bit. With the purpose system, I think so. Of course, like there should be tangible outcomes, but it should also drive brand recognition, at least in my mind. Because if we commit to spend a large portion of issuance, then we need to make sure that this actually has some benefits, like direct benefits to the maker brand. So I think while I think we need people who know about AI alignment and who are plugged into this whole scene about responsible AI and governance of generative foundational models, we need to make sure that this is adequately used for marketing purposes.
I mean, I think there are just like many things to think about. And it's so interesting because this is the first quarter that's ending. So now we are solving some, and then there are some more questions, which is I think life itself.
Yeah. And here, Bona Publica also says the purpose system can attract aligned community members to participate in maker governance. I think that's exactly the point, that where it should be used. AI is a public good. Yeah, it's a good question. I think that's exactly the kind of question that the advisory council and the scope has to answer, because clearly Maker doesn't want to fund a for-profit company that then like generates profits that don't directly funnel back to Maker. And since the purpose system is about the spirit of giving and creating public goods, we need to actually ensure that this is what's happening, because I don't know, I think OpenAI, just from the name and what I heard, is like they started as basically a non-profit, and now I think that kind of got lost along the way, and now they're a for-profit entity with close ties to Microsoft, and I think that's perfectly all right. Like that's their prerogative, but we have to make sure that this doesn't happen with our investment here.
In terms of the amount, I also don't think that ABCs are the ones that have a mandate with is like too much or too little. I think it's just giving delegates to think whether you think that this will be good for growth in the long term or short term or not. So, but I think especially at least like ABCs for now, like I don't think that we can talk about like specific budgets for each one. Although I think other delegates can maybe give like some of the comparison, like for example, like if it's a philanthropy from the other protocols that were successful, like how much was it? Like I think information can be helpful. Right. Yeah, I think the AI part will be. I mean, especially because it's something that not just Maker, I would say like other protocols as well as like even outside crypto has been pushing and then the experimenting. I think it'll be a big discussion points. Either way. But okay, is there anything else that we want to discuss?
I think that's fine.
Okay.
Let's make sure we improve the documents for in the last week now, and then next week just touch briefly upon that, and then finalize it via a vote. I think we can even vote officially here in Discord, like you and I, and just like give the final stamp of approval here.
Well, I mean, we need to do the signing on the blockchain.
Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe we can do that live or something, like a little final event or something.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we should do that. Then should we cut a little bit short today?
Happy to.
All right. So as we are approaching the end, let's race to the end and do well, and then everybody, please have a good weekend. And yes, keep updated on the Discord, because I think that for the details and adjustment, that's where we're gonna talk about. All right, thank you all.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.